What's up, everybody? This is episode 2 of season 2. 2 of 2. Let's get it. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode, and I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this episode. Okay, it's gonna be another good one. And I'm super excited. So I guess we should just kind of jump into it. Let's get it. Okay. So the person I'm going to be talking about, her name is Mary Coffin Ware Dennett. That's right. And fun fact, Coffin Ware Dennett, all those names are all last names. So Coffin is her mom's last name. Ware is her dad's last name. And then Dennett was her husband's last name. So she has all these last names and only one first name, Mary. But yeah, so Mary was born on April 4th, 1872. Let's go. She was born a long time ago. But that's okay because she was an amazing person, okay? But I kind of want to talk about like her upbringing and like how she got to where she was, okay? So she was the second of 4 children in her family. Sadly, one of her siblings died at birth. So she was the middle child, basically. And she actually learned how to read and write when she was 5 years old. 5 freaking years old. Did you know how to read and write at 5? Because I know I didn't. It took me a little bit. But she was freaking smart. She was ahead of her time, in my opinion. Sadly, in 1882, her father died of cancer, and so her mother brought the kids to Boston, Massachusetts, to live closer to her parents' family, so her mother's family could help out with her. And because her mother was now a single mother, she had to work a lot, and she got this job with a traveling agency, basically, and so she stayed with her aunt a lot. And her aunt was Lucia Ames Mead. Okay, and Lucia Ames Mead was freaking awesome, okay? She was an advocate for world peace and women's suffrage. So, like, she would speak at all these rallies, and she would obviously bring Mary with her. And a lot of people say that's who inspired Mary in her later life to do what she's gonna do. You don't know what she's gonna do yet, okay? But she has done so many amazing things, and she's an inspiration. Honestly, obviously she is, because I wouldn't be talking about her if she wasn't. But yeah, so she studied in college. She graduated high school, went to college. She went to college as an art major, actually. She made a lot of art projects. Like, she did leather work and all this stuff, and she was more hands-on with her, like, art, you know, and, like, she was she was an amazing artist, and, like, that's freaking awesome. I would say I'm kind of an artist myself. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, so she, like, had a background in art, which really didn't follow what she did in her later life, but let's kind of get into that, because, like, she was a freaking inspiration, okay? So what she did was she was an advocate for social reform in the early 20th century. She really fought hard for, like, women rights, and she fought for women to have access to contraception. She wanted women to have access to sex education also. So basically, what all started this was she, like, found out about the Comstock Act, which was an act that made it illegal to, let me get this right definition because I want to do this right. So the Comstock Act made it illegal to distribute obscene materials through the mail, which also included, like, birth control and, like, information, like just pure sex information on top of that. And Mary being Mary, she wrote a pamphlet about sex. It was called The Sex Side of Life. Okay. And she wrote this because her eldest son was curious about sex. Like, he was like asking all these questions, and Mary was like, you know what, this is going to be the perfect time for me to write a pamphlet to help other people. And that's what she did. A lot of parents actually took her pamphlet and not only learned themselves, but they also taught their children about sex, which I thought was awesome, because like Mary said, everything she ever read about sex was that it was shameful and it was something that you shouldn't talk about, which isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has sex, okay? Everybody's gonna do it, and if everybody's gonna do it, we should be teaching people about it. You know what I mean? I know personally, when I was in a health class in high school, and I really didn't learn about sex. You know what I mean? I learned about STDs, about like the dangers of sex, but I was never taught about sex. And I thought that was wrong, because it's like, how are we preparing our kids, our students, for the future if we're not teaching them about life? And sex is a part of life. Everybody's gonna do it eventually, okay? But I feel like our health classes should be better. And that's what Mary thought too. She fought for sex education. She fought for that. She wanted more sex education. She wanted more knowledge being taught in schools, and which I thought was freaking awesome. You know what I mean? And not only did she fight for sex education, she also fought for birth control. So she was part of the birth control movement, because she believed that women should be in control of their own fertility. Which, you know what, I completely, 100% believe, okay? Like, could you imagine if we were still back in the day and you couldn't get birth control in the mail because it was illegal? So, like, you had such limited access to get birth control. And there was, like why? Why is this a thing? I don't understand. Like, we should be in control of our own bodies, okay? And I believe that sometimes the government and men try to control our bodies, control women's bodies. And I think that is totally wrong. I don't believe that's right. You know, men control their bodies. Let us control our bodies. Let women's control our bodies, okay? We know how to work our bodies. We know about our bodies. Let us do what needs to be done to our bodies. Okay? That's all I gotta say about that. But not only was she was such an inspiration to so many people, but she also has a couple of enemies, okay? And these enemies blew my mind. Like, one of her enemies was named Margaret Sanger. And she was another birth control activist. Yeah, an enemy against a person that's in your own group, man. They're both fighting for the same thing. But the reason that they disagreed was because they believed that, like, each person was going at it wrong. Like, Mary said that Margaret was, like, doing wrong things that Mary was trying to repel. And Margaret was like, well, Mary's not going at it the right way. She should not do this. They're both fighting for the same thing. They're both birth control activists, and I believe that they should have got along. I mean, the movement probably would have gotten a lot farther if they just worked together. Because 2 brains is better than 1 brain. But I wanted to go back to Mary's personal life for a little bit, because it was a sad one, I do have to say. So Mary had 2 children with her husband, and she actually had 3 children, I should say. One of them died when she was being born, and she had 2 sons. And it was very sad, and the doctor actually told Mary that you can't have any more kids because you're probably going to die if you have another one. And so her and her husband stopped having sex because they couldn't control not having babies. But like, if Mary would have been able to get birth control, they would have been able to keep having sex, you know what I mean? But they couldn't, so they stopped, and her husband wasn't having it. He left. He fought for custody for the children. Mary won, which most women do win custody battles with children. Not all, but most of them do. But like, her husband didn't pay any child support. And at this point, Mary was a single mother of 2. She worked for both of them, her kids. And her husband couldn't even help her out. Like, what a freaking God. When I read about that, it pissed me off so bad, because it's like, you know what? You fought for those kids and then you didn't win, so you're like, I'm not helping at all. That's not right. That's not right. And she struggled a lot. Like, she had to work so many jobs, and like, but she was also trying to do so many amazing things. Like, she participated in the Women's Peace Party, and that party was there to oppose the war of World War I. Which, you know what? Don't fight, just love, okay? But I thought that was so sad, because it's like, he wanted those kids, but then he lost, and he was like, no. And she was trying to do so many amazing things, but she had to work harder and to do everything, which is a sign, you know what I mean? If you look at a lot of women who are in history, they have worked so much harder than men. Not only do they have to fight for what they believe in, they also have to fight for their family. They have to be the ones that hold the whole family together. And then they're also trying to spread their arms around the whole world and help the world. You know what I mean? That's what Mary was trying to do. And at all this, Mary couldn't even vote for who she wanted. Women did not have the right to vote. Like, I thought that was freaking ridiculous. And you know what? Fun fact for everybody out there. Women did not get full rights until the year 2020. Are you kidding me? I was 20 years old, and I finally got full rights. That's freaking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people don't, see it, because it's like, women do are pretty much equal to men. I mean, in my eyes, we are equal. But, in the government's eyes, we're almost there, but not quite. We're still underpaid. We're still, denied certain jobs. We're still not, given everything that a man is given. But we're slowly getting there. And, for people like Mary, she ran for us so we could walk. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. She was there for us. She fought for us. She fought for us women. Okay? And that's why I wanted to talk about her, because I never learned about Mary in school, you know? I didn't even know who she was until I was Googling it. And I believe that we should be being taught this, you know, especially as women. I feel like, personally, for me, I didn't really learn about that many, historical women in my life, in school and stuff. Yeah, we learned about the big ones. But what about everybody else? You know what I mean? I learned about so many men, historical men in this country, that why aren't we being taught this about women in school? Just men. You know, and the thing that really makes me mad, and that is kind of true, and that's why it makes me mad, is because when people say it's a man's world, it really kind of is, and that freaking pisses me off. You know what I mean? This isn't a man's world. If anything, it's a woman's world, because we give birth. We give life. You know what I'm saying? What a freaking gift that we are able to do. Men can't do that. So, I'm just saying, if it's anything, it's a woman's world, because we are the superior. No, I'm just kidding. But we should be being taught this. You know what I mean? And Mary was an inspiration to me when I read about her, because not only did she take care of her family and she struggled, she also freaking fought for women. She wanted women to have the access to birth control. She wanted women to have the access to sex education, because we're not being taught this. We aren't being taught about our bodies. And I also want to talk about this because in today's world, women are still facing the struggle of being able to control our bodies. There are states in the USA that have said that abortion is illegal. Women, you know what? Women should be able to do anything that they want with their bodies. Men do it. Why can't we? Okay? If there are states out there that are making it illegal to get an abortion, that's basically saying, women, if you get pregnant, you're going to have that baby because a man wants you to have that baby. That's not right. That's not right. I think it's freaking wrong. I do. And I believe it's a choice. You know what I mean? It's your body. It's a woman's body to choose to have a baby or not. And for a state to take that right away from somebody is freaking ridiculous. Okay? And I was inspired by Mary because, she was back in her day, the problem was that not everybody had the access to birth control. And, she changed that. She was a big person to change that. She repealed the act that said that you couldn't get birth control in the mail, which is helping so many women today, still. And, I feel like this should inspire all of us to say that if we see something wrong, that we should try to change it. I don't know how to change it, honestly. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I don't know how to change it. I don't know how to fight back against states to say that it's illegal to get an abortion. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. But I'm going to learn. I'm going to try to learn. And if I do learn, I'm going to let you know. Because I feel like we should all be trying to better ourselves and better the world. Okay? And if you see an issue, fix it. That's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, so Mary was a freaking wonderful person. She really was. She fought for a lot of things. She fought for women rights. And that whole time she did not get the right to vote, which I thought was sad. But she was amazing. And she had 3 last names. No, I'm just kidding. But, so, Mary Coffin Ware Dennett, I want to thank you for inspiring people and for fighting for women. Fighting for me. Because without your help, I wouldn't know everything that I know. You know what I mean? You helped women for generations to come after you. And I think that's amazing. That's such an awesome, goal. That's an awesome legacy to leave. She left a legacy that has helped so many women, which I thought was freaking amazing. So yeah. So that was Mary. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to learn more about her, I did not find any documentaries on her at all. And, but I did just Google her, found that she has a website out there called Mary Coffin Ware Dennett. And so if you just Google her name, that will pop up and you can read all about her life like I did. She lived a very inspirational life, and she not only defeated all her odds, she freaking shined. She shined so bright. And I believe everybody should learn about her because she was a very important woman in our history. And she was great. She's an inspiration, and I really enjoyed her. And I enjoyed learning about her. Sorry about that, y'all. My camera shut off for some reason. That's great. But like I was saying, that was this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. So let's get to the positive segment time. Woo woo. So today I have a pre-read one, so I'm just gonna read it to you. Okay. So Israel produces 55% of fresh water from the sea, okay? Israel developed a pump that turns seawater into fresh water, and this is no high school experiment. It provides enough drinking water for 1.5 million people just 10 miles south of Tel Aviv. This technology provides the answer to the worst drought Israel has seen in 900 years. Running out of drinking water was a real tangible threat. This technology could become instrumental in solving water access problems in the future. That is freaking awesome. As we all know that our fresh water is delimiting and we are seeing more and more seawater, but we can't drink seawater because it's salty. Salty, but this invention that Israel just freaking made is going to help the whole world. Really, it is. And that's so freaking amazing. And thank you, Israel, for helping the whole world and for coming up with a technology that is helping people. You know, you're helping people who don't have access to water have access to water. There are people in the U.S. that don't even have access to clean water, and you're answering that answer. Like you have an answer to that freaking problem. So let's see if the U.S. will do this. Let's see if the whole world will help Israel and put more money into this project to help with this water crisis. But thank you, Israel, for freaking doing that. That's freaking amazing. Okay. But yeah, so that was the episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a lot about Mary. I know I did. I know she's an amazing woman, and I hope you guys think she's an amazing woman too, because I know I do. But yeah, so you guys can find this podcast on all podcasting mediums, and you can find this podcast on YouTube at Power to Women, and you can find this podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Power to Women also. Also, if you want to go check out my personal Instagram page at EmilyNichols00, you can. And if you want to go check out my personal Twitter page at YoungEmily1864, you can do that too. As always, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And I hope you guys have an amazing week, because you deserve it. Go after what you want. Drink water. Stay hydrated. And peace and aliens be with you.